Art integration is essential for teachers in the classroom. Art provides tangible connections to interdisciplinary subjects and culture, raises student motivation, and teaches life skills that are beneficial inside and outside the classroom.
Studies have shown that art integration improves student performance in math and reading. Art also helps students learn about and connect with different cultures.
One of the English teachers came to me and said, can we do something where I have this idea. We're studying Greek theater. I want to do Greek theater masks or something like that. Do you have any ideas? Like we can make them out of paper plates or something. I'm like, paper plates. It'll be better and easier if we make it out of clay. And she's like, oh, no. I said, yes, what's your schedule like? And she had windows and I had small classes when she had big classes, and I was like, that's my service class. They can help your kids do it, And we just figured it out. It worked out in our schedule and it was worth the extra time and effort. And yeah, it came out great. And one of the masks from her class won third at state for all-state art. It was fun for the kids in here to show the kids from her classes that they knew, how to get around in here, and elements and principles of art, and yeah, that was fabulous. So kids that didn't usually get to be experts were suddenly experts too. That was really exciting, helping their peers understand how to do something.
I had a student that was doing some technical drawings related to the science projects. He had a really hard time doing the volume of writing. He had a really hard time getting his thoughts down on paper, but he could draw an image and then add labels, and then we could go back in and organize the sentences, flesh it out to become a piece of writing with paragraphs.
The reason I love art so much is that you can incorporate every single subject in school into art. You can reinforce other subjects, and kids have a chance to practice the skills that they've learned in other classes in the art room. So an example is one of my early assignments I do is making a snowflake, and we take out a protractor and we measure 60 degrees, and the students have seen protractors before and they've used them before, but now it's outside of the math room and they have a chance to exercise a skill that they've had on their own without the prompting of their math teacher. And I really like the way that you can take and say, okay, in real life, how would you use those other skills that you develop in different parts of school? How is it real to you?
When you don't have art, kids just struggle to express themselves in a deeper way, and they lose some of that creativity.
We looked at the art of the Haida and Tlingit, which most of my students, they come from a Yupik or an Athabascan background, some of them are Luchic. I don't have very many Southeastern students, so it was kind of cool to explore that art form. And the art of the Pacific Northwest Coast is very structured. So there's very specific rules about what shapes you use, how those shapes can be put together, what colors you use, what animals you use. So we study specifically the button blankets and all the different things that went into those, and then we created a small square button blanket ourselves. So, and along the way, we also studied how the art has evolved and how people use it today, and how at one time it might have been used at a potlatch or when someone became a tribe leader, and that today a student might receive a button blanket like when they graduate from high school or college, or they do something significant. So I really love seeing the kids internalize what they learned. One of my big projects that I've done for quite a few years is when the students take plaster and they make a mask on their face. It's a mold. Then they push clay into it and make a creation. And it's part of my cultural art class. So they finish the mask to look like something from a culture that they've studied. But one, it's scary. So you meet your fear of having your face covered in plaster. You have to trust your classmates. You have to be engaged, because in middle school we have like 42 minutes. You got to get it done. And then when you're done, you have a product. This is what my face looks like. And I really, multiple times have students who are, graduated, have families of their own, who say, I still have my mask from middle school. Like, it had a lot of meaning to them. So I think that more than just someone's life being totally, changed around, that art helps them develop in the stage of life that they're in. A lot of our students have difficult lives that they don't always share with us. And sometimes art can be an outlet for that, and a place where they, can feel successful, express themselves.
Students can connect to art in a more personal way because they are expressing their thoughts and ideas in a visible representation. This improves student motivation.
Well, I think there's a certain amount of freedom in an art class that you don't have in a lot of the other subjects. So along with the decision-making aspect, which I think is a big one, just the freedom to explore and pursue anything that you might become passionate about. If you're passionate about lizards and your friend's passionate about jellyfish and your other friend is passionate about engineering, you can all use your passions in an art class and do something that you become interested in, that resonates with you, and you're following instructions at the same time.
If art was taken away in my school, I would feel lost, and it would be very hard for myself to express my feelings and my thoughts in a very creative way.
Yeah. So if art was taken away from our school, then I would also feel very lost, but I would also feel unimportant, if that makes sense, because I view art as kind of something that brings me up, because like when I'm complimented on art, then that makes me feel good about myself. But if that's taken away from me, then I feel like I would have a lot of self-doubt.
Okay, so art impacts my motivation because like if it's on a project, then I'm more likely to like want to do it, like it'll be more fun, and I like doing art, so that's motivational, I guess.
Art integration helps students develop important character traits and life skills that are valuable in the real world.
Sometimes people will think that you have to be artistically talented to become an artist, but I think everyone can benefit from art training. I have just seen so many kids blossom in terms of their decision making, and that's something that I think a lot of teachers who don't work in that discipline don't recognize. So that has been huge for me, just the recognition of decision making as an important skill that's used both in the arts and then also in anywhere else in life.
You can really say anything from just, I want to figure out what I'm thinking, I'm going to map it out in a visual, or I want to say something meaningful in my community, I want to make a statement, I want to influence people. You just manipulate the grammar and the principles, and it's a powerful thing. You got to figure out how to challenge yourself and find the reward, recognize the progress, and how to celebrate that and move on.
I think that when you take arts education away, you're taking away independent decision making, you're taking away observational skills, you're taking away evaluational skills. To me, that's what art is taking a deeper look at the world around you, taking a deeper look at your own thoughts, and learning to express yourself and put your decisions down into a tangible piece.
no matter what you're doing, at some point in your life, you have to present things visually. And to know the guidelines for that, I think, is really super helpful for students.
I feel like it helps with my ability to stay calm, I guess. When I do art, it kind of calms my mood. I like doing it in and outside of school and activities. So,
Yeah, I know that when I always have like tough times in my life and I just need a kind of a breath of fresh air, I always go to art because it's just a way to express the feelings that I have at the time, which just, it's like my therapist in a way, which that really helps me in life, and it also helps me be very precise. If I'm looking at a picture, trying to copy it off so I can work on my technique with, let's say, drawing an eye or something, then just being precise is very important. So
Diligence, like working hard at a project, that's important for life. Neatness, that's important. Expressing your creativity in a non-violent way. Yeah, so that's what I've been in art class that could help me in other areas of life.
You can't fake that you learn something when you have to create it.
See how important it is to integrate art?